not just the usual yachts and exotic vacations.
Like a city built with bouncy houses or limo for dogs.
You're hired.
Mega Millions, top prize odds, 1 in 302 million.
We have 2 boys, so we needed more space. We lived in a townhouse, so we decided to build.
Casey Bowman and her husband Joe built their first home with us. This is Bob Benish of Aspen Builders. Working with the Bowmans was fantastic.
After the first meeting, we really liked them as people.
I was really skeptical about the whole building process, more so than Joe was. If there were problems or issues along the way, they called and explained everything. They just really helped ease my mind.
They were really good about giving us options as far as what fit in the budget, what didn't fit in the budget. They have a designer, Rachel.
She was amazing. She was very helpful in making sure that our house turned out good. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change the lot. I wouldn't change colors. I love everything about it. Everything. It's perfect for us.
Like the Bowmans, you too can make your dream home a reality. Call us at 423-6811 or online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
How many times has the dad in your life complained about being tired and sore and done nothing about it? Why not change things up this year for Father's Day with a gift certificate for a massage from The Body Shop? It's not a day at the golf course or a new tool for the shop, but it is something that can make activities less painful going forward. Get Dad a gift certificate today for Father's Day at thebodyshoplincoln.com. The Body Shop at 48th and A.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish all the dads out there a happy Father's Day. We hope that everyone is able to show how much they care for and respect the dads in their life for this weekend especially, but in everyday life too. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Mostly sunny skies expected here for our Monday. Really a beautiful way to start off the week with a high of 76. Winds out of the northeast at around 5 to 10. Mainly clear tonight, a low dropping down to 52. We'll start to bump those temps up just a bit as we head into our Tuesday. Mostly sunny with an afternoon high of 83. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Happy Hour.
You guys want a happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well. Austin Orman, this is going to be quite the show.
Nick Sainer, yes it is.
We are going to kick things off. Once again, we are at Lincoln Northwest High School. And just an awesome day here at Lincoln Northwest High School as the Boys and Girls Club of Lincoln is hosting a junior NBA camp. Shout out to Rock for having us out here. It's just been a great experience so far. Now, we can't bury the lead, though. That just moments ago, and if you've listened to the show, thank you, Rico. If you've listened to the show, you heard Rico and I talking about Jordy Ball. She has officially entered the transfer portal. So Jordy Ball, in a statement, released this that said, for the last 2 years, despite the amazing opportunities and accomplishments, my love for home and the acknowledgement of my foundation have grown. Being away from these things has been very rough, and she continues to talk about it. And then she says, my heart is full of gratitude and love for the girls, coaches, and people at the University of Oklahoma. Here's the kicker. I am excited to return home and be Jordy Ball, the softball player, but more importantly, the person. Now, without saying that she's coming to Nebraska,
well, Omaha's home.
Omaha and Papillion La Vista is technically home. So
St. Mary's is right there.
But, Austin, let's talk just about in the softball world on the larger scale, the magnitude of this decision. Now, Jordy Ball, once again, we went through all of her accolades prior to them winning their third straight national title, prior to her winning her second national title in just as many years. But this is a pitcher, Jordy Ball, once again from Papillion La Vista, who has a career 1.00 earned run average, a combined 44-2 record in her 2 seasons at Oklahoma, and has basically been the best player in all of college softball the last 2 seasons.
The best player on the best team.
Yeah, undoubtedly the best pitcher. And now, I mean, you could argue possibly Jocelyn Allo was the best player in all of college softball last season. But as a true freshman, Jordy Ball was the best pitcher on that team. And so nice catch, Austin.
Thank you.
So
still got it.
Just thoughts on this, preliminary thoughts on the move.
I don't know if earth-shaking for college softball comes close to describing this. And it's funny because it's such a big decision from maybe the best player in college softball, like you were saying, this year. Undoubtedly the best pitcher in the NCAA tournament, especially in the Women's College World Series. But it's Oklahoma, right? They'll find someone. They always do. That program will reload. But it's still new and shocking to see someone of Jordy Ball's talent level decide to enter the transfer portal. And again, it's not because of playing time. She didn't mention anything about NIL. So you're not going to get a better softball situation on the field, on the practice field situation than what she has down in Norman. But what this says to me, Nick, is that off the field, maybe she wasn't always as comfortable.
Yeah.
And I don't know, she credits Oklahoma, her teammates, her coaches for, working with her. But there's something to be said about just wanting to go home. I don't think this is a slight or a knock on Patty Gasso in any way, shape, or form. I think she's built an upstanding program that Jordy Ball obviously loved to be a part of for 2 seasons. It did a lot of good for her, and I think Jordy Ball did a lot of good for Oklahoma. But sometimes there are just things that coaches can't control, like a player wanting to go home, not being able to get comfortable as comfortable as they'd like in a new town. So it's a big blow to Oklahoma. At the same time, I think that they'll find a way. They'll move on.
Yes.
They'll find someone else good. Now, wherever she ends up, again, the signs are pointing to Nebraska.
Well, once again, in her Twitter and Instagram post, she posted the same thing on both platforms. She mentions, quote, I am excited to return home and be Jordy Ball, the softball player, but more importantly, the person. I am excited thinking about growing the game that has provided me so many opportunities for growth in the home state, a current overlooked state for girls in softball at all ages, and I am excited to finish the softball journey right where it began. So it's so hard not. I don't want to read too much into it. I don't want to pick this statement apart piece by piece and say, oh, well, that's home, that's Nebraska, right? But being realistic, that is the state of Nebraska.
Where else would it be?
Exactly.
I mean, your options feel like it's Nebraska, Omaha, Creighton.
Yeah.
Those are, I think, the most realistic options. And Nebraska's had the most success of any of those programs. I mean, Nebraska was in Hunter in the recruiting process.
Yeah.
And that's one, you can't blame her for wanting to go to Oklahoma for 2 years.
Absolutely.
As good as that program is, I mean, that's where I feel like she felt she could be pushed the best to learn, grow, and develop the best. But it's still just incredible that a player like that would enter the transfer portal. It's still new in college athletics where someone that good, leaves a place they've been so successful, so consistent.
And so we preliminarily thought about what are some of the most impactful transfers, right? So let's move on. We can talk. I mean, this is no doubt in the era of transfer portal, the biggest one in the softball world.
Yes,
the biggest one in the softball world. DB, you want to join? Okay, so, there it is. Okay, thinking across all sports. First one that comes to my mind, Caleb Williams was one.
Big one.
Comes to USC and wins the Heisman Trophy. And I guess are we talking era of transfer portal?
See, that's the thing, because you could say Baker Mayfield was hugely impactful. The way he transferred from Tech to Oklahoma, the numbers he put up. He's on that conversation. Kyler Murray, Justin Fields in that conversation. But Caleb Williams, the way he moved from Oklahoma to USC, winning a Heisman.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. And that's the thing is Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts. That's
yeah.
And so
the thing about those guys is they didn't do as much in their first year. Well, Hurts did before he went to Oklahoma and then was replaced. Joe Burrow was a good college quarterback and then took it to another level. Caleb Williams was, oh my gosh. Rico says Cam Newton, but that's a JUCO transfer up.
Yeah.
I mean, Florida to JUCO to Auburn, right? Was his path?
Yep.
I think that's pretty much the list for football in the era.
I mean, and if we want to talk Nebraska, where's your head at?
Okay.
In terms all across all sports.
Yeah.
Because obviously, Trey Palmer was a huge one.
Huge.
That maybe as recent as it was, we forget that how crucial and how important he was to Nebraska's season. Trey Palmer was. And now maybe in 10 years down the road, we're going to have to look back and go, you know what? On a poor team that was coached by a poor coach, he stood out and somehow figured out a way to get to the league.
Right. Trey Palmer's on that list. You got to throw, I think, Casey Thompson in that list, because without Casey Thompson, is there Trey Palmer? And without Trey Palmer, is there Casey Thompson?
Yep.
The volleyball side of things gets interesting. Lauren Cook transferring in from UCLA.
That's right.
All Big Ten, first team All-American setter, but Nebraska didn't have the team success when she was there. You look at the time, I think a move of similar magnitude was Lexi Sun coming over from Texas.
Okay.
Maybe didn't result the same.
Kelsey Robinson
in there.
Coming from LSU.
Kayla Caffey.
Yep.
And Brianna Holman.
Yeah.
In the middle. So I think that's the conversation on the volleyball side. Men's basketball has had a lot of transfers, but clearly not Jordy Ball level or impact. In football, I'd also throw in terms of culture, I think Darian Daniels was a huge get.
Yeah.
But again, Jordy Ball is one of one in this conversation.
Well, when you look at the college softball world as well, you don't hear very often a player of this magnitude, and a player, let's also be honest, that Nebraska has a potential of getting, right? Nebraska has
better
an
than
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes. And so just to read off her statistics once again, as a true freshman in 2022, had a 1.09 earned run average, went 22-1 in the circle for the Oklahoma Sooners, had 7 shutouts, 14 complete games, in 141 innings pitched, just allowed 22 runs all season in 2022. In 2023, could it get better? It could have. Or excuse me, it did get better. Had a .90 earned run average. Went 22-1 once again. That one loss was Oklahoma's one loss this season to the Baylor Bears early in the season. And then so she goes 22-1 in 147 innings pitched. And so I should have looked up the graphic specifically, but there was a graphic of what she's done in the Women's College World Series against the top 8 teams, where it was 30 innings pitched and what was it, 1 or 2 runs allowed, I believe,
something like that.
And during this Women's College World Series,
go ahead, Rico.
During this Women's College World Series, she only allowed 1 run and had a .18 ERA in the 4 games that she pitched.
And she gave up that run. She gave up that run early. 24 2/3 scoreless innings is the 3rd longest streak in WCWS history.
Yeah. So once again, it's the move of this magnitude, I think, in just the softball world. We saw it similar last year in college baseball with Tommy White going from Tommy Tanks going from NC State to LSU and joining basically what is another powerhouse last year just in college baseball, that is.
Paul Skeens from Air Force to LSU.
That's right. And so women's basketball this year, Haley Van Lith went to from Louisville to LSU. They've created a super team with Angel Reese and Haley Van Lith down at LSU. And so it's just and Morrow, there was I'm blanking on her first name. But anyway, so just we're starting to see big moves through the transfer portal. And in this case, it doesn't appear to be NIL based.
I don't know how it could be. I mean, what softball program out there would have more money than Oklahoma? You know, what softball program would be better funded? I find it hard to believe there would be one out there, especially for a player of Jordy Ball's caliber. What don't you pay within, reason and budget for a softball program to keep a player of her caliber around?
Yeah. Well, and so don't forget also in the transfer portal, and Rico and I have talked about her on the happy hour before, Emma Koff. She's at Georgia Tech. She's from Georgia Tech. She was one of the first players in the entire country after the regular season, to enter the portal officially, make it public. And she's at Georgia. She was at Georgia Tech, was all ACC a couple of times. And so we're still waiting on official public word from her on her decision. But this could be a really beneficial offseason for Rhonda Revelle, who they've gotten to the regional. They've gotten to, now unfortunately they've been dealt Oklahoma State the last 2 seasons. They've had to go travel to Stillwater the last 2 seasons, but they've been to a regional. Now it's how can you continue to get over that hump, whether that's hosting a regional or whether that's going on the road to maybe a lower seed that you're matched up a little bit better with, and maybe upsetting them to go onto a super.
What is that next step to you? Because to me, it's hosting, being a top 16 seed, I think should be doable for Nebraska softball, but I'm willing to take that next step and not get sent to a top 8.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're pretty much going to do that, but if you can get to a 5-12 matchup or a 7-10 matchup, I think that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think so too. I also don't think hosting a regional is out of the question.
It shouldn't be out of the question.
Shouldn't be out of the question. And so you have a good core coming back. And when you look at maybe what they're returning next season, you're returning Captain Abby Squire. You're returning Ava Breadwell behind the dish. You're potentially bringing in one of the best pitchers in college softball.
Couple Andrews, right?
Billy and Brooke are returning. Kaylin Kinney is going to be healthy after her foot injury held her out for a little bit, extended period of time this season. So you look at these pieces and go, you want to get it done this season. You want to look and say you don't want that missed opportunity down the road.
Right. That's where you have to hope that Coach Revelle, Coach Sipple, and the rest of the staff have a plan. Because we've seen Nebraska in the just get talent phase and what that looks like out of the transfer portal. But as important as it is to get talent in the door and on the field, and regardless of the talent level, you have to have a plan for it. How are you going to deploy it? How are you going to push the talent you're bringing in to get better? How do they meld together with the team? How do you get them comfortable as quick as possible? And again, it's not just as simple as, can we do some, MLB The Show roster finagling and, we're magically good all of a sudden. No, there's got to be a plan in place behind the scenes, because we've seen super teams fail without a plan.
We've also seen, to an extent, going through the portal and or adding a bunch of new guys, Husker baseball has struggled to find a blend of guys, right? There's always a couple. I mean, even like this year, it was Casey Burnham, Gabe Swanson, and such. But, man, you would have liked to see the development from Drew Christo be a little bit more on the road or, publicly known, I think. And so and they go out and hire Mike Sirianni from Wichita State,
who brings in a transfer just now.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Shouts to Rico for this one. Gavin Blackowitz was a 2024 Wichita State commit. Not anymore. He is all N, as the kids would say.
There you go. So, and Wichita State just made a head coaching hire. They went out and hired Brian Green from Washington State. And so Wichita pulls the former Washington State head coach from Pullman, and they are now they've had a couple guys enter the portal. One of their best pitchers entered the portal yesterday as well. And I guess that's a good segue when we talk about pitching, because I don't think this will be all we hear from Jordy Ball. I think we're probably going to hear more down the road. But as we talk about pitching, and the Super Regionals were this weekend, obviously Regionals were last weekend, Quinn Williams for Stanford yesterday throws 153 pitches in yesterday's season-saving win against Texas. Complete game, 9 innings, and so they end up throwing 153 pitches. And you think, okay, that's not anything. That's pretty bad for one time. That's quite a bit. Had 16 strikeouts, if I remember correctly.
Yep,
in a win against the Longhorns. But when you look at what he's done, he's pitched or thrown 120 innings the entire season for Stanford. Okay, potential first-round pick in the future. Back in the first game of the regional, he threw 114 pitches. That 2 days later, on Sunday, he threw 66 pitches.
For those keeping track at home, you're up to 180 right now.
And
180
then
pitches.
You throw in 156 yesterday, and you get the total of 336 pitches over the span of 2 weekends.
My gosh.
From the arm of Quinn Williams, a very talented Quinn Matthews, yes. Thank you, who's a really talented lefty for Stanford. And if you look at, if they get the job done tonight, college baseball fans are going to see him in Omaha come next weekend. But his arm's got to feel like rubber.
I don't know how he can raise it above even like his hip. Like, does he get more than like 30 degrees of separation? Can he swing his arm in a circle? I wouldn't be able to. It's legendary stuff. And that brings up, the age-old discussion of our college pitchers, overused, abused by their coaches. That's where I would love to know those conversations in the dugout with the player. Well, because I think we're past the point of coaches being dictators. You're going back out there whether you like it or not. I think we've advanced far enough to where it's a conversation. And what's the balance between trusting a kid to know how his arm feels and the head coach of, I got to do what's best for, yes, this individual player, but also the team.
Well, and so Quinn Matthews, I keep wanting to say Quinn Williams. Quinn Matthews, he said yesterday, I wasn't going out of that game. And so that's also somewhat of a, I think, cushion for a coach. The player is saying, hey, it was my call. Don't be mad at the coach for that. But also, this guy has a future, man.
He does.
This guy has a future. And in a sense, if this is a repetitive action that as a head coach you're willing to take, I'm not so sure that we can sit back and say you have their full interest at heart, because 336 pitches in 2 weekends is a lot.
336 pitches in a month is a lot.
Yeah.
That's, again, where it's a nice cushion for coaches as long as it works out.
Yep.
And what does it works out mean? It means the player is successful, the team is successful to some degree, and the player is healthy. Because let's say, Quinn Matthews would have gotten hurt. Let's say he's not able to throw in Omaha. Again, wishing the best for the young man. I hope he's on ice right now, completely immobile. Absolutely. As long as he stays healthy, through the MLB draft process, whenever that is for him, if he stays healthy, if, Stanford makes it to Omaha, it works out. The coach asked the player said yes, the player performed, that's great. The problem comes in when the player doesn't perform and you get a, kind of Dave Roberts, Clayton Kershaw thing where you're throwing your guy too much, he's not as effective. Or you look bad if the player gets hurt. Even if the player says they want to go out there, that's when I think it calls into question, well, can we trust the coach to make the right decision for the player?
Well, remember Terry Collins and Matt Harvey?
Nick, you're asking a Royals fan if he remembers Terry Collins and Matt Harvey.
That was one of the ones in recent memory that's really popped up. And what happens, this is an open-ended question because there's no significant or definitive answer that we can say. But anyway, so there's no definitive answer, but it's what happens when the player says, I'm good to go back in, and then ruins their potential career. That's where is that what's going to happen for something to be done, whether that's a cap, whether that's a closer look at responsibilities of a head coach or closer look at potential rest in between a certain number of pitches. And so I think that's where it's such a fine line in that moment, because you're sitting there, Stanford's up by however many runs, and you have your guy saying, I'm good, coach, but he's at 135 pitches like Quinn Matthews was last night, and goes, what am I supposed to do here? Well, that's also on the coach if they didn't have anybody warmed up, if they didn't plan accordingly prior to that game to be able to use more pitchers, right? You got to be able to have more of a plan in place.
And that's the thing. I would assume that Stanford's coach had a plan to go to his bullpen. I don't think he expected 9 innings and 160 pitches.
I hope so.
Out of his guy. But I can see the temptation where you get to the 7th inning and you're like, okay, he's rolling. Yeah, I know he's at 100-ish pitches or so, but if we can save our bullpen, because you need everyone to be all hands on deck, Johnny Holstaff, in a super regional game 3 with the chance to go to Omaha. So I get the temptation to, keep throwing your guy out there. It worked out for them. They won the game. They should have about everyone that they could possibly ask for available out of the portal. But the other interesting thing is, of course, that as much as we can paint with broad strokes, each individual is different. Each player is different. Each situation is different. So there are those guys who are built different out there. Maybe Quinn Matthews is one of those guys who won't feel anything. Maybe he's back out there, playing soft toss today just because he is, built different, got that dog in him. Not everyone does. So then it comes down to how much do you trust the coach and how much are we willing to trust the coach's process of the decision-making versus the result that the decision, ended up with.
Well, and unnamed texter makes an interesting point. He says, or they say, so you brought up Terry Collins and Matt Harvey, but he was a grown professional. And that's understandable. I get that line, but you can't want to treat college athletes as professional athletes when it comes to the business side of things, but then act like they need a guardian and somebody there when it's in this case. You have to be consistent.
You do. The other thing about that is if you're going to treat Matt Harvey like a professional and he's a professional, yeah, he's professional. Say, yeah, coach, I'm going to go back out there, put me back in. But also the professional thing to do is, hey, Juris Familia is the best closer, or second best closer.
At that time he was.
Best closer in the National League. I'm partial to my guy, Wade Davis.
Yep.
What gives him a better chance to win? Matt Harvey or a rested Juris Familia with a chance to push this series back to the best starting rotation in baseball that year with DeGrom, Syndergaard, and Matt. So, being a professional goes both ways.
And it's a tough decision or moment to make, obviously, because it's in the heat of the moment. Adrenaline's pumping. You're on a big stage
at home.
Is there some of that? Is there worry in some people's heads where it's, if I take him out and we lose, it's why didn't you stick with the hot hand?
We saw that 5 years later with Blake Snell and Kevin Cash.
That's right. Yeah, where they took him out. He was rolling. It took him out in the 4th, I believe.
4th or 5th. Because he hadn't gone more than 6 all year.
Yep, 4th or 5th, and he was huffing and puffing and trying to say, Coach Cash, keep me in, and they didn't, and they ended up losing. So that's a good point. If you guys did not hear at the top of the hour, Jordy Ball, the Oklahoma pitcher, has entered the transfer portal. So Patty Gasso, the head coach for Oklahoma, in fact, just released a statement regarding the departure of Jordy Ball into the transfer portal. And this is what
Strick blows my assist.
Strick, did he airball?
Chest pass. It was right there in rhythm. Sorry,
that's okay. That's okay. Strick's hitting some shots. Just drained a 3. Anyway, So I guess it was a long two. Could have been the foot was on the line. But anyway, this is what Patty Gasso said on the departure of Jordy Bahl. He said, quote, Jordy shared with our staff on Friday that she had been feeling a strong need to be closer to home for quite some time and that she had planned to enter the transfer portal. It was a very candid and emotional conversation. We are grateful for her 2 years with our program and for everything she accomplished. She obviously was a huge part of our on-field success, but I'll always appreciate Jordy and her approach, her dedication to the game, as she's the ultimate competitor. We're understanding of her situation and certainly want her to be the happiest she can be. We are supportive of her, and she will always be a part of the OU softball family. So
classy.
Once again, and that was just days after Patty Gasso, the Oklahoma head coach, said that Jordy Bahl was the best pitcher that she's ever seen. That was one thing she said after Oklahoma won their third straight national title as a softball program. So Jordy Bahl enters the transfer portal. We'll probably talk more about that as well. I got a baseball guy in Austin Orman sitting to my left, and Rico, shout out to him for pushing all the buttons back in the studio. I want Rico to definitely chime in as the show goes on as well. So we'll go ahead and take a break. Once again, we're live from Lincoln Northwest High School. The Boys and Girls Club of Lincoln is hosting a junior NBA camp. Shout out to Rock Lloyd for having us out here. It's been a great day. We're still here till 4 o'clock. Strick is in the building. Austin, DP, myself, we're all hanging out here at Northwest High School. Make sure you stick around. More coming up next on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Smoked meats, amazing sides. The only problem when they fix you a plate is that at some point, that plate will be empty. But hear me out. What if that plate was never empty? That dream can be your reality with the Mary Ellen's Express Lunch Buffet. From 11 to 2 every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday. One price, all you can eat, and it even comes with a drink. Tell your boss you're taking a long lunch and get down there. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul at 29th and Pine Lake. Let them fix you a plate.
Our Remington Homes has really expanded and taken off in the last 5 years.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, talking about their exciting new division, Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
The exciting thing about a Remington home is you get to choose your floor plan from predetermined floor plans. You can select your options. We give you a lot of choices. By selecting certain floor plans, they're just easier to build. And you couple that with our great lot selection in all different areas. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Are you ready to upgrade your combine? Don't wait. Act now to choose from the widest selection of used combines at Acres Equipment. Acres, the nation's largest John Deere combine dealer, is offering 2.9% interest for 60 months on over 100 pre-owned combines. Go to acres.com to view a huge inventory of low-hour, late-model John Deere combines. Find what you like, and we'll deliver it to your farm for free. Acres, solutions for every field.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Guys, it's that time again. Another 10-week challenge at Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping is starting on July 8th. I joined Farrell's a little over a year ago, and with their help, I've lost over 125 pounds and can confidently say I'm in the best shape of my life. The 10-week challenge combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching in a way that is approachable and achievable for any skill level. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off the cost of enrollment. Head to theticketfm.com and click on the banner on the homepage to learn more. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaving at 70th and Vine or 40th and Yankee Hill.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
The Butchery by Venue is Lincoln's premier specialty grocers. Take the quality of Venue home with you with our hand-cut steaks, handcrafted burgers, and locally sourced offerings. Browse our wide selection of specialty products designed to enhance your dining experiences with cheeses, spices, sauces, and more. We also have an exclusive collection of liquors, whiskeys, and bourbons at prices you're sure to love. Stop in to the Butchery by Venue today, located in our Venue at Home storefront at 70th and Pioneers, just 2 doors down from Venue Restaurant and Lounge.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this summer. Check out their new Keen and Tiva brand sandals for hiking and Olukai sandals for sitting by the pool. Plus, they're stocked up on Hey Dudes to catch you up on the latest shoe fashion. They also have shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66 and Q in Lincoln.
Old School with DP and J.
How many do you think Bud has left in it?
Bud's the only one that knows, but I would imagine that Bud is at the one. He's trying to be the best fighter in the world. Period. Like until somebody's got to take that from him, and I'm not sure that anybody can. I don't know if Spence can. Spence would love to be that person, but Bud Crawford has denied people forever.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
Herbie the Fourth ate his first solid food today, prompting a response of nothing but steaks all week for the Nebraska offensive line.
Then Enrique Alvarez Clary.
No more peaches and carrots for Herbie the Seventh. Baby food be damned.
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
With that rejoin, we should make it known that Austin is naming his baby Herbie.
Yep.
Still going to be Herbert.
Yep. It's playing.
Good stuff. But anyway, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line are two avenues for you guys to get in touch with the show, but not the only two avenues, as we have the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as Allo channel 951. 951 is the place to go if you want to watch us on your television. Thanks to Allo for that as well. News of the day so far, Jordy Ball enters the transfer portal, and The Athletic just actually wrote an article regarding it, and it's headlined, Oklahoma's Jordy Ball, star of Women's College World Series, to transfer, quote, return home. Is Nebraska commitment next? Let's not talk about the Nebraska side of things, but I do want to mention this. Ball, a Papillion, Nebraska native, said she plans to, quote, return home. She originally committed to the University of Nebraska in the 8th grade before decommitting in 2019. The most outstanding player at this year's Women's College World Series, Jordy Ball pitched 24 2/3 scoreless innings in Oklahoma City. She started 3 of Oklahoma's 5 games, allowed just 12 total hits and 4 walks. She struck out 33 batters in those 24 2/3 innings, and Ball also entered the championship series twice as a pinch runner, and guess what? Scored each of those 2 times. When we talk about domination that we saw in the circle, in the softball world, the last 2 seasons, it's Jordy Ball, right? And at the end of the day, don't forget, Oklahoma also had another pitcher who was one of the best in the Big Ten the year before, and Alex Storako, who transferred from Michigan to Oklahoma, ends up being their number 2 behind Jordy Ball, and they still win a national title.
That's it. That's all. That's all that happened. They went and got the Big Ten's best pitcher, got the best pitcher out of the state of Nebraska, and a freshman or sophomore, I guess, this year overtook an established college pitcher. Jordy Ball is good. That's the takeaway. Jordy Ball is good and deserving of all the headlines that she's getting. I mean, how many other softball players outside of, like you mentioned in the first segment, Jocelyn Allo's home run chase?
Yeah.
How many softball players move the needle to this degree? Like, this isn't just a Nebraska story.
Well, and what's interesting, I think, a little bit about it as well is it's not that she was excelling at a team that was unranked.
Right.
It's not that she was excelling at a team that wasn't was playing in a regional every year, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking. This is it less about softball and more about just personal?
That's what it really seems like.
Because
you can't talk
we
into
talk
a
about
softball explanation making sense.
Because Oklahoma, as of right now, this slate of 3 national titles in a row is talking about the dynasties of UCLA a couple years ago and Arizona State when they were number 1, Alabama and Coach Patrick Murphy. So I just think when you look at, I mean, we always use the term lateral move. It's not a lateral move.
No. There is no lateral move to Oklahoma. There is no lateral move. Oklahoma
that's what I was getting at,
running
yes.
college softball. It's, I mean, that is to say, not that Nebraska is a step down, but where isn't a step down from where Oklahoma softball is right now?
Yeah,
it's not disrespectful. It's just the fact.
Yeah. So once again, don't want to bury the lead. We are live, Lincoln Northwest High School. Shout out to the Boys and Girls Club of Lincoln. Thanks to Rock Lloyd for having us out as well. Strick's here. He's involved already with the camp, doing some good work as well.
Playing good D down low.
So, he's standing under the hoop as well. Gets that long wingspan for Strick, that left arm. But anyway, no. So it's a really good day. We've been here since about 10 a.m. The camp started at 11. They ate. Shout out to Mary Ellen's, a friend of the station as well.
So good.
I mean, goodness sakes, that was delicious. And so Mary Ellen's provided some food for them, and then they got to work right around noon as well. So just been a really enjoyable day. Austin, moving over to college baseball because we have a couple minutes left in this segment. The College World Series field, 6 of the 8 teams are set. When you look at the other 2 teams, it's Southern Miss and Tennessee. They'll play today at, I believe, 5 p.m. Central Time. I think it's 6 p.m. Eastern. And then at 7 p.m. Central Time, it's Stanford and Texas. Both of those winner-take-all games. I really, really like this field. This field is interesting. You have teams that are used to being here in Virginia. TCU's been here relatively often. LSU, obviously, which is one of Omaha's favorite. And then you have a team that hasn't been here since 1978 in Oral Roberts.
Oh, Bob.
And so Oral Roberts hasn't been here in a very long time. Wake Forest, who has hit, I mean, so many home runs. They're going to be able to use their power at Charles Schwab Field. Wake Forest, the number 1 overall seed. The Demon Deacons are obviously in Omaha. Florida, the number 2 seed, is in Omaha. It's going to be an exciting field in the College World Series.
Yeah, Florida took down your Gamecocks. So
I was really disappointed.
That,
South Carolina had the upper hand early in game 1, and then it just became too much. So
the 2, I think, most surprising teams in the field right now are TCU, who got hot at the right time.
Yeah.
I mean, they were 7 games above 500 was all in the Big 12 before they went 10-2 over the end of the regular season, Big 12 tournament, and then regional weekend. And Indiana State, hosting that regional, making it out. Not a lot of people picked them. They did. They gave a more talented team on paper a good run while hosting that. So I think that's not hosting. They would have hosted, but they had to go to TCU because Terre Haute hosts the Special Olympics.
That's right.
So Indiana State probably deserved to host the Super. They weren't able to. Still gave it a good run on the road. And the wackiest regional I can remember up in Eugene.
Well, and that's where I was watching game 3 yesterday in Eugene, and this was prior to Oral Roberts's big explosion when they went 8-5, and Oregon had a great opportunity. What was it, in the bottom of the 8th where they left the bases loaded, and so it was really frustrating. Every time I see an atmosphere like this in the super regionals, whether it's at Alex Box for LSU or whether it's down in Florida in Gainesville or Mississippi State. It makes me crave for Nebraska to be able to host just a regional.
That's all we're asking for. Just be a top 16 team.
Mm-hmm.
The top 16. Get them to Lincoln, because I love the setup at Hawks Field for a regional. That place, it's a good mix of holding noise, but also you can hear it from far away because it lets it out. I mean, there's plenty of place to sit, and the fans want it. They are so hungry for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been how long since Nebraska hosted a regional? Last time they made College World Series, 2005.
05.
That can't happen. That shouldn't happen. I mean, Oral Roberts is headed to the College World Series. Like, we're not asking for that in this conversation. We're asking to host a regional.
Oral Roberts, by the way, just the third 4 seed from a regional to ever make the College World Series. Fresno State did it back in 2008. Stony Brook made it in 2012, and now Oral Roberts here in 2023. But this field is going to be fun to watch because you have this mix of teams that are mainstays in the College World Series that are not. It's not going to blind them, right? The lights aren't going to blind them. They have Oral Roberts where everybody's going to kind of be cheering for the Cinderella team in this case, whether it was Stony Brook, whether it was Fresno. Coastal Carolina is another team that comes to my mind. That's a team that wasn't supposed to be here, but they fought through just an insane atmosphere in Eugene. I saw the atmosphere in Eugene after they hit the 3-run home run in Game 3 yesterday. I believe it was in the bottom of the second inning, and Oregon ended up taking a 3-1 lead at that time. The atmosphere in Eugene in a winner-take-all super regional game was unreal. And so it's going to be unreal anywhere because those teams that make super regionals, they're going to have good atmospheres, and ones that host it are going to have great atmospheres. And so I just think that every time I watch regional or super regional baseball, I get the rejuvenized craving for Nebraska to be in that position at some point.
We've seen it to some degree when Nebraska's made Sunday of the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
They've made the finals, but even that doesn't compare. It just doesn't. I'm sorry, TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab Field, whatever it is, not the same as hosting it at Haymarket Park.
Yeah.
That would be electric. You get 8,500 people in there. I mean, you'd have 16,000 saying they were there for that first game. I mean, I bet they would break, 11,000 with the standing room and sitting room on the berms, especially out in left field. I'm sure there'd be some people sneaking into Upper East Stadium and Memorial Stadium to try to watch the game. But you just want it so bad. Why can't Nebraska have that? Why hasn't Nebraska had that?
Yeah. Well, and another great venue for hosting a regional that hasn't seen it in a while, Bowling Stadium.
Right.
And now, I mean, just to put a bow on it, Jordy Ball announces her intentions to enter the transfer portal and saying, quote, return home. So we'll see what that means. If that means Omaha, if that means Southeast Community College, or if that means Nebraska. We'll see what happens in those regards. But once again, you can get in touch with the show, 402-464-5685 on the Starter Heyman text line, the Honda of Lincoln hotline as well, the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo Channel 951 as well. We're out here at Lincoln Northwest High School for the Boys and Girls Club of Lincoln Junior NBA Camp, as Strick is in the thick of it right now, just teaching some drills with Rock Lloyd. And so there's going to be a couple of special guests on the horizon as well. And so when Strick and Austin are on the air, they might be able to hop on in and join the guys on the air today. We'll be right back with the final segment of the happy hour before we shift it off to On the Block with Strick and Austin. Coming up next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Generation V.
Opening a new location at 27th and Superior.
Generation V.
Join us this Saturday during our grand opening sale. Everything is buy one, get one free. Mix and match between Vape, Delta 8, and Kratom, or buy 2 of your favorites for the price of 1. Buy 1 Elf Bar disposable, get 1 free. Buy premium THCA flower, get a free glass pipe. You decide what to BOGO this Saturday.
Generation V.
Don't miss the grand opening sale this Saturday at 27th and Superior in Lincoln. GenerationV.com. E-cigs contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-ons, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
If you're interested in installing solar panels in Nebraska, there's a name you need to know. Solar by Alpine Electric is based out of Lincoln, and you can be sure your project will be handled with care and detail because Rick, the owner of Solar by Alpine Electric, will be involved in the entire process from start to finish. We're an REC Solar Certified Pro installer and handle jobs in Lincoln and the surrounding area. Let us show you real-time results in your area. Call Rick today at 402-440-4371. Solar by Alpine Electric.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and our big summer sales event is underway this month. Right now, get 0.9% interest rates. Yes, you heard right. 0.9% APR on select new Chevrolet and GMC vehicles, plus a $1,500 trade-in bonus on select Silverados and Sierras. You put all that together with some big Koppel discounts, and you have a tremendous buying experience. So stop on into the dealership or check us out online at KoppelCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's effort. It's the entire dealership, sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Junior Achievement of Lincoln inspires and prepares young people for success. Learn more about the people involved in the organization and the success stories over the years each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Junior Achievement Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
Look at me. This plane is going to Jamaica.
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico, I know you're listening. That rejoin gets me every time. Rico, are you there? You want to chime in a little bit? This plane is going to Jamaica. Rico, thank you for pushing all the buttons. I want to give you the opportunity. Provide your thoughts here on Jordy Bahl entering the portal, because we talked extensively about just her domination at Oklahoma. We didn't even mention the transfer portal last week. But we mentioned multiple times just the domination. Oh, there he is on the camera.
Hi, Rico.
Hey, guys. We mentioned multiple times just the domination. So give us your thoughts here real quick.
Well, again, first things first, we don't know. We know she's coming home to Nebraska. We don't know where in Nebraska she's going, as we have mentioned. Could be Nebraska,
right.
could be Creighton, could be UNO. Apparently her brother played at UNO, so that is a thing. So there is that aspect. But wherever she ends up going, they are going to get an elite pitcher, one of, if not the best pitcher in the game right now. As a freshman, she would have been their ace, but she got injured. Actually, she was their ace most of the season, got injured going into the tournament, injured her forearm, so she didn't pitch as much. Didn't pitch as much in the Women's College World Series, but they brought her in as a closer to pitch a couple innings and close things out for him because she was just that dominant. So wherever she ends up going, they're getting an elite pitcher. Let's just say she does go to Nebraska, right? Let's just say she goes to the Huskers. They are losing Courtney Wallace, who was a mainstay for 5 years in Nebraska. One of the better pitchers. I believe she's in top 10 in a couple of the records here at Nebraska. And they're losing Maya Felder, a transfer from Oregon who played first base. So those are the only two people they're losing. If you look at the rest of the roster,
wow,
all of the other starters in the field, we're just talking about on the offensive end. So with the bat, all of them hit over 300. So if you add, that to the dominance that Jordy Ball, because it doesn't look, it's not like a lot is changing. You're stepping into the circle. You're facing one batter at a time. Unless she all of a sudden loses her softball ability, I can assume that she's still going to be a very dominant pitcher. You add that, we'll just say 1 point whatever ERA to Nebraska. I believe that they have a good enough offense to help with that. Their defense is pretty solid as well. This is a team that, even if they don't end up hosting a regional, has a really good chance of getting out of that regional, making it to a super regional. So it's just you look at how massive of a get wherever she ends up going is because of how dominant she has been for her only 2 years of collegiate softball. This is a massive shakeup in the softball world. The SEC is going to miss out on seeing Jordy Ball, week in and week out. Transfers right before the year before Oklahoma ends up going to the SEC. It would have been really fun to see Jordy Ball match up against those Alabama teams, for 3-game sets. But now she's coming to the Big Ten, maybe. And it's a lot different than the Big 12 and the SEC.
Well,
Michigan and Northwestern are heated.
I was just Austin and I were talking about that during the break. If you're another Big Ten school and she decides to come to the Huskers, what's your reaction? If you're a Michigan, if you're a Northwestern, if you're an Indiana, I mean, you are livid because you're like, God, the only reason is because that she was from Nebraska.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely the only reason that she's coming back to the state of Nebraska is because she's from here. If she were to go, she wouldn't be leaving Oklahoma. Now, look, I thought it was funny. So me and my wife, shout out to Rachel, we're watching the Women's College World Series, right? And we're watching Jordy Ball just be dominant, just destroying folks left and right. And I just sit there and I go, you know how cool it would be if she came to Nebraska? And she's like, it would be. But then we started talking about the type of, I don't know what the word is, the type of legacy she would leave at Oklahoma if she stayed there for 4 years. Yeah. Because if you think about that team, you think about her dominance, that's back to back to back to back to back national championship type rosters with her on there and whoever they decide to surround her with. 5 national championships in a row for Oklahoma, 4 in a row for Jordy Ball, being one of the better players in the game of softball year in and year out. That's some crazy legacy type stuff that she would be able to leave at Oklahoma, but home is where the heart is, and apparently her heart isn't in Norman anymore.
Which, and from that standpoint, it's disappointing, right? Because it's tough to, if you're not a Nebraska fan, you're just a college softball fan, you're going, it's too bad that's how she felt in Norman, right? That's disappointing that's what she experienced. Now, I would also, we have just a couple minutes left. Strick's still working hard with the camp right now.
He's gonna
we got more time.
He's gonna be breathing hard when he gets on the show.
Yeah, no. He's just chilling there. But no, DP's even stepping in. It's
nice.
we got plenty of people
got some professionals.
it's good stuff here. But anyway,
it's not like
exactly.
It's not like she hated Oklahoma.
Notice how Austin and I are not standing.
Yeah, it's not like she hated Oklahoma or she was treated badly. It's just being homesick.
No, absolutely not.
It's just being
Well, that's
homesick.
where-
I mean,
that's
she
where
had
it's
one of
like-
the best
I mean-
coaches in the game, if not the best coach in the game.
Well, the question is like Austin and I were asking, like, how long was this occurring, right? Is this a thing that she was experiencing 3 weeks after she stepped on campus, or was it something that just kind of popped up in the last couple months? And we'll probably never know. We don't necessarily need to know, but it's definitely a bombshell in the softball world.
I shared that clip with you. I can retweet it. She was on a radio show or a podcast, and she was talking about when she got back to Oklahoma after the summer, she just didn't feel right. She didn't have that same competitive fire that she had the year before, and it was just her being homesick. And their inner squad, she said she's going against the best, some of the best hitters, if not the best hitters in the country, and she didn't have that competitive fire, and it was very strange for her. So this homesickness could have been going on all year, but she decided to stick it out, obviously, win another national championship, be the MVP of the Women's College World Series, and now she's entering the transfer portal and planning on coming back to her home state. Not sure which school.
I
know
it's
it's
gotta
really
be.
it's really easy to just say she's coming to Nebraska.
I hate that. I hate that we have to do that, unfortunately.
We
where it's
truly
just
don't.
like,
We
yeah,
don't
you
know.
We don't. I know we don't. And like I'll eat cake on my face. I'll have cake smeared on my face or whatever. But like, it's so disappointing that we have to say it. Yeah, she could go to UNO.
Yeah.
Or
Like,
she could go to UNK.
Like, is she
it's
gonna?
tough.
Yeah,
So
like,
I
is she gonna
texted
play? Go ahead.
I texted a mutual friend, and he said that if Jordy Ball comes to Nebraska, she replaces Robin Mackin as the best transfer in program history. Robin Mackin was an All-American and then an Olympian in 2008, but she had arm troubles. So that's the kind of company we're talking about here at Jordy Ball.
Yeah, someone on the text line goes, watch her go to Creighton. And that's the thing is like, if that's the case, for now taking a step back and looking at it bigger picture, if that were to happen, I think it's important to think about what that does for the community. And that's something that Jordy Ball mentioned in her post was listen, Nebraska as a state's somewhat overlooked in her opinion as a softball state for talent.
Mm-hmm.
And she, in a way, is coming home to hopefully give it some more respect and give it some more eyeballs, right? And so I thought that was pretty impressive and interesting as well, because if that's the case, then no matter where she goes for the state of Nebraska, it's a positive move. It's a positive thing.
If you look back at those travel ball teams that she played on,
strict.
those Nebraska Gold teams, if you look back at the rosters on some of those, they're all over the country at Division Ones. I mean, Ruby Malin played on a Nebraska Gold team with Jordy Ball. Like a bunch of these players that are at Division I schools all play together on those travel ball teams. And this state is very talented when it comes to softball. And her coming back to the state and being able to and being able to showcase her skills is only going to it's definitely going to help the game within the state. And it's really exciting to hear. It's going to be really exciting to see regardless of where she goes.
All right, we got about a minute left here. Austin, this show practically wrote itself there. I mean, it's just a lot of good stuff with Jordy Ball obviously entering the transfer portal. Just the numbers are mind-blowing. Would the expectations, last thing before we leave, would the expectations be too big?
In Nebraska, aren't they always?
Okay,
Isn't
an answer.
that fair? The expectations are going to be sky high.
Yeah.
As good as Jordy Ball is, you're still playing 1-on-9.
Yeah.
So you have to fill out the rest of the roster around her. I think she raises the expectations, and that's healthy and that's good. But the onus is on everyone else to step up around her, raise up to her level.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be something to watch. Stick around. Once again, a huge thanks to the Boys and Girls Club of Lincoln. Thanks to Rock as well for having us out here. The Lloyds are on Sundays as well, so make sure you check out their show, Rock and Ramel Lloyd Jr. It's been a great time, and we continue things from Lincoln Northwest High School coming up next. On the block, Stricken Austin coming up.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Generation V.
Opening a new location at 27th and Superior.
Generation V.
Join us this Saturday during our grand opening sale. Everything is buy one, get one free. Mix and match between Vape, Delta 8, and Kratom, or buy 2 of your favorites for the price of 1. Buy 1 Elf Bar disposable, get 1 free. Buy premium THCA flower, get a free glass pipe. You decide what to BOGO this Saturday.
Generation V.
Don't miss the grand opening sale this Saturday at 27th and Superior in Lincoln. GenerationV.com. E-cigs contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Save money on energy-efficient equipment with the LES Sustainable Energy Program. Nearly half of the financial incentives are still available for qualifying projects. View incentives and learn more at les.com/SEP.